it's like in so many ways, the best way for me to sum this up, and I know a lot of people are going to be in their feelings when I say this shit, but YouTube has turned vegan. All right, it's just like the simple fact that I eat fucking meat is a problem. So
I'm more carnivore.
Yeah, you know, and like when it comes to this situation with all of this stuff, definitely with Zarkeesian, she doesn't know half the shit that she's talking about. Let's just be realistic. She talked about the reason why she didn't like Legend of Zelda. Because, Link is he's not empowering the woman. I'm gonna be real. Okay, if she would have actually understand any of the Legend of Zelda series, okay, first, it has Zelda's name in it. I'm sorry, but maybe she didn't know that Zelda was the fucking female and not the character you play with. But exactly. and I have to go in some more, man. Fuck this bitch. Anyway,
go ahead.
I don't understand. Like, if you did not know about Legend of Zelda, and a majority of games, except the 2 where she was dead in, if you did not understand that, if it wasn't for Zelda leaving those little fucking breadcrumbs, like, I don't know, the master fucking sword, or how to get these upgrades that you need to survive against Ganondorf and Super Nintendo, Link wouldn't be alive. Like, Link would be dead starting off. It's because of her he was able to become the legend he was. That's what the whole...
Can I also put it in perspective here? One, and this is the only point I'm gonna make. The whole time that she arguing the point, in the back of my brain, I'm like, doesn't this bitch know that Zelda has a secret identity known as the Sheik?
Exactly. One of the
she's a badass
characters in the fucking Legend of Zelda game.
Honestly, one of the characters I play in Smash most of the time. Like, I love that character.
You know, and that's like one of the hurtful things when it comes to, you know, her talking. Because she'll talk about a game and then, you know, this game had to be made by men because it... Look, no one gives a fuck. All right? We enjoy the game. And a lot of people don't even, you know, see the same reasoning that she's talking about. But somehow dumbasses follow her, even though she has taken a lot of feminism money and has not honored her end of the deal. She has taken money from feminism, and yet she's still honored as the feminist of it. Because why? Motherfuckers don't want to look stupid. You got like,
and this is another thing, man, because all this stuff just kind of leads into each other like multiple times, and it's really annoying. But it's worth pointing out. Like, okay, we all know about. I don't know if you guys knew about the controversy with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, right? Oh yes, there's controversy with it because, you know, these people, these feminists, I don't even want to really call them that, but, you know, these cancerous SJW types, like, they'll complain about anything, right?
Right.
But the thing that they're constantly trying to prop up, they don't even fucking support. Prime example. Okay, so Sonic the Hedgehog movie come out, and everyone's like, "Oh man, this movie's probably gonna suck." Sonic look like a fucking like a nigga wearing a furry costume. That ain't good. So the studio goes back, changes it, make it look like Sonic, and then everyone's like, "Oh shit, I'm hyped. Let's go watch Sonic." And so the movie comes out, does really well. The last numbers I think I can think of were like 300 million at the box office, which is pretty good because the movie only took 100 million to make.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that's a success. They broke even and then some. Now, a movie that panders to all that, you know, shit that they're into, like, oh yeah, women are the strongest and all this stuff. Birds of Prey. Movie tanked. You want to know why? Because the people that keep bragging about, we need this, we need more strong women and all this, they don't go see the fucking movies. They do all this complaining, but when it's time to, to show up and support this thing you claim you want, you ain't nowhere to be found. Because
I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that.
I was gonna say that movie tanked in more than one way though. The film tanked, but the people who actually worked on the movie were on social media talking more shit after the movie came out, almost to feed into the fire that they tried so hard not to even do in the first place. I mean, it's just, that's why social media is so dangerous. Is because you put too much out there and you leave nothing to the imagination for the people that are paying attention to you. You expose yourself real quick.
I definitely agree with that.
Yep, and like I was talking to another friend, Cross. He was like, these people are like a virus because it affects the comic book industry too. Like people don't realize how widespread this ideology is. Because
let's not talk about the new what was it called? The
New Warriors.
Oh, the new. Oh God, damn!
Don't
Snowflake in safe space. Oh my God, no, what they do?
I'm not gonna lie. I felt kind of fucked up when they call that man Snowflake, man. Like I'm just gonna be real.
Safe space, bro.
I'm like y'all had to give him a backwards, not even just sexual racist name, but it was a black dude. That's what fucked me up even more. I'm just like, why can this, like if you're gonna do it, man, at least let it stick to the character. Like, we got Black Lightning from DC, okay? Black Lightning.
Yo, them costumes is horrible too, by the way, man.
Dude, it's fucking terrible.
Holy fuck. They don't even match. The whole team don't match. They all look like they're disconnected from each other.
Yeah, like if the great example, if you go back and you look at, I don't know, X-Men,
right?
What was their colors they rocked? Black and yellow. At the end
or yellow and blue.
They rocked they did. No, they rocked black and yellow.
They did black and yellow. They did blue and yellow too.
Yeah. In the comic books, they definitely rocked black and yellow back in the day.
And so this is the weird thing, man, because it's like every time all right, the truth is simple. The truth is, and this is dude, people gave Tomonobu Itagaki shit because his attitude or whatever. But thinking back on it, we need more developers like him. Like he's the guy who originally created Dead or Alive.
Oh yeah,
man. Yeah. There's an interview he had at IGN. This was years ago, and this dude, like, I wish I could just sit and talk to this man because he was like, this is what sells games: violence, sex, gambling. These things are these are the things that people want because it's like that's why Dead or Alive was so good back in the day. Like the game had a lot of sex appeal and it was a fighting game, and they weren't afraid of it. Back then they were like, yeah, we know where we are. Everyone keeps criticizing us for being a titty fighter, but people are buying it, so who gives a shit? And I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's the goal. If the goal is to make a successful game type, then it shouldn't matter what the message. What do you call it? The subliminal messaging or whatever. It's like if you want your game to fail and your demographic, why the hell would you go against it just so you could score brownie points with a group of people who don't give two shits about the game, who just care about being politically correct or whatever the fuck. And I'm just like, I don't get it. Like the mentality is so broken. It's like, so you want to pander to people who are like, well, we need more trans characters, more gay characters. And I'm like, these folks they don't watch games, they don't play games, they don't read comic books, they don't watch movies. So what the fuck are you doing?
These characters are developed naturally. There's one example of what you're saying that I honestly respect this guy so much, right? Because when CD Projekt Red, the guy who is at the helm of that company, he got a lot of flack because in the trailers for Cyberpunk, people were saying that there's no diversity in characters, and he's a black dude, and he's like, like, look, why are you offended for me, bitch? Go fuck yourself. And I was like, I had to clap. I was like, thank you for standing up for the actual player base, the real people who are gonna buy your game at the day it comes out, because like that right there cemented my want for the game, because he's standing up for what he believes in and what he wants to do as a creator. As a creator, you're not supposed to take you can listen to when people tell you, little tidbits here, like maybe this would be pretty cool if you tweaked it this way. However, as a creator, you have the sole freedom to do whatever the fuck you want and create whatever the fuck you want. If it's how you feel, then that's how you feel, and that's how the content should be. I want to play the game that was made by somebody who didn't have bars holding them back like a fucking prison cell. I want somebody to go balls deep in their development and actually make a game that represents them as a creator. And that's why CD Projekt Red, especially even with The Witcher, man. Even like I don't really enjoy The Witcher that much in terms of the gameplay, but the story was great, and just the way they created this world was unapologetic, and it's the reason why I respect CD Projekt Red so much.
I feel you.
Yeah, because those are the best stories, the ones where you're not held back by any type of worry about any shit like that, because that's interesting. Nobody wants to read or watch some safe ass politically correct drivel and
regurgitated bullshit.
Yeah, and I don't know, are either y'all familiar with this old cartoon called Duckman?
Oh hell yeah! I used to watch that when I was a kid all the time. Yeah.
Episode where it's funny how ahead of the time that show was, because that show basically predicted this how things are now.
Right.
It was an episode where Duckman, he was the only one who was immune to this likability formula that made everyone like this lame ass, boring ass, safe ass comedian. And all his jokes were so terrible, but Duckman was the only one that could see that it was like, man, this guy sucks. Like he's being safe. It takes for him forever to get to a joke because he's too busy trying, running off all the check marks. Yeah, it's okay to be gay and not that it matters and blah blah blah. Like, man, it sucks. And the most popular comedians, like Eddie Murphy, fucking Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor. If you go back and look at any of their specials, it's like, yeah, these guys are just raw. They just tell it how.
Eddie Murphy named it raw for a reason.
Exactly. That was like Red Fox, man. You would hear him say some of the most wildest shit that you would never hear today. This man came on stage with a titty mug, okay? He was like, man, I'm thirsty. And you drunk out the titty. Like, he was the only person that could do that. He didn't give a fuck, just like how Dave Chappelle back in the day he was like, man, hey, I gotta light a cigarette and smoke a cigarette on stage. People weren't so much into their feelings, and then all of a sudden it became an issue. And it's more and more of an issue now than it ever has been. But let me go back to Dead or Alive for just a second. The crazy thing about Dead or Alive that still kind of has me laugh today was at one point, yes, more men and more males were playing Dead or Alive. But as the series had went on, the crazy part about it, way more females started playing the game.
Yes, that was the ironic thing about it, because that franchise had a lot more female, had an interestingly high female player base.
Exactly.
That these people just tend to just straight up ignore.
Like, you don't think women like titties too? Women love titties just as much as we do.
Yeah, that was
cute and stuff, and girls like cute shit.
Yeah, there was a forum called Women Like Titties Too, and I thought that shit was hilarious. I love that, man. Like, and it would be like they would post up like what their favorite games was, and if I'm trying to think, because they used to be on Twitter and they used to be on what's the shit they had flapped all the nudity on? You guys know it, Tumblr. They were on there and they used to
platform.
Bro, that platform is hilarious. Was majorly hilarious. But the one main thing was they would post up, and the majority of that Twitter base was women. You were like 5% guys in there, so it was a whole catfish factory. It wasn't a sausage factory, it was a catfish factory. And that was one of the things that I loved about that, was it was just like, okay, you can't say that this game is sexist because a majority of your people who are playing this game are women. The huge base of this game, it's a lot of men that play this game. Like, a lot of men play this game. But when your base is mostly women at that point, and it's showing, how the fuck can you complain about a game? And then these fucking moms out here. My thing is, if your child somehow ends up with this game, that's your fault for not noticing that he had the game, okay? Or
example is Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, even that, like I knew parents who bought the game and then was upset at gaming stores because of that. I worked at a game store, and a grandmother
I used to work at GameStop.
Yeah, I used to work at Game Exchange. that like the craziest, most bullshit that we would ever get. Oh, I can't believe you sold me this game. Ma'am, we have to tell you that this game is mature. If you have a child with you, we have to let you know that this game is mature. This game has drugs, nudity, and a lot of sexual content. We have to let you know that. Violence off back. And she was just like, well, my husband came in here and no one told me this. Same thing happened with God of War when one guy bought the God of War collection for his son. We told him, he said, oh, that's fine. His wife came back upset. He was like, ma'am, we told your husband this. She look at him and now he looking fucking stupid. And I'm just like, at the end of the day, if one parent lets it go, you can't get mad at a game nor a gaming company. The same shit happened with Mortal Kombat in the early 90s. Where people was like, oh, it has blood, it has sexual content and all that stuff. Bitch, it wasn't made for you.
Yeah, I mean, you got that whole ESRB rating system written on the back of the game for a reason, but your lazy ass don't know shit about it because you don't put enough time and effort to care. So that's our responsibility.
Preach.
Man.
When I worked at GameStop, it got really annoying because like little kid couldn't even have been double digits yet, right? Comes in with his mama and he's like looking around and he's like, do you got GTA? And I'm like, yeah, we got a lot of GTA, but why do you want it? I mean, you ain't even old enough to buy it. Oh, my mama said I could get it. I'm like, okay, but you do know that this is all about shooting people up, jacking their cars and blowing shit up. Like you causing, you know what I'm saying? Like I know how kids can get. I've actually seen some kids get real stupid over this game. One time, mama actually got an attitude because I was like giving them like, you know, an actual synopsis about this game is really violent for a kid to be playing. I don't think this would be suitable. I don't want to hear it. Just give me the game. And like they don't even give a fuck about the emotional distress that their kid will be under playing it. I mean, for us back then, it was a little different. But now, on top of social media, and now they got GTA and all these other games, I'm like, y'all have all these choices in the world to pick from, but you chose this game. Why? Oh, it's because all my friends got it, and that goes back to the whole idea of microtransactions, because now these kids, they'll buy these damn shark cards on GTA. Back then, there was no such thing as that. But now with the online platform, we got kids buying fucking $1 million shark cards and stuff like that. And I don't know how much that shit is on PlayStation Store. But every time I see it, it's like it's in your face all the time. You can't escape it. So when a kid's like, I can get that amount of money in GTA right now if I spend $40 on whatever, $50. Okay, I won't tell my mama though.
Yeah. The same thing I've seen happen in NBA 2K. You know, NBA 2K was famous for being on the Dreamcast and all that stuff. That's where it was introduced. But
back in the day, it was cool though.
Yeah, it was hella cool. But you know, now when parents forget, quote unquote, oh shit, I forgot that I linked my credit card to their account, and when somehow you go home or you swipe your card to try to get that special TV you had your eyes on and your shit said maxed out. I've actually seen several parents have their cards maxed out. And
same with FIFA and Madden.
Yeah, exactly. And the problem with that is you're not paying attention to what your child's doing, let alone you're not having the responsibility of checking what the fuck you got in your bank account or credit card account. You know, like they do have what they call notification these days for that type of shit, but you can't even do that. And I think like certain stuff like that is hilarious to me. It's funny. It's also sad that parents do not, like a lot of parents, I'm not saying all parents, because my dad was one of those people who did look at, you know, the level of maturity, like, you know, of a video game. And he was just like, oh. And he was like, well, you know, shit, I might play it. Yo, let's get it. You know, like, let's get it. I have to see. And it was certain games, like I remember when Tenchu came out, and he had a friend who sold video games on the side. And I remember getting Tenchu and Fighting Force. Now, if you guys know that them games are rated M. He saw it and he was just like, you know what? Play through it real fast. I'm like, oh shit, hey, he gonna let me play it, all right. I played through it, and he was just like, oh shit. Man, they call that blood, that little spackle of red stuff spraying. Man, you get this game, bro. I'm thinking I'm gonna see a titty or something. You know, like that. That's how it is. You know, at least you have parents that, you know, at least care about the games that you play, just to make sure, you know, that, because you don't know what you don't know if your child is weak-minded. You don't know if your child will go out and actually try to steal your car or somebody else's car and crash that shit.
I just wanted to do hood shit with my friends. Remember that kid on the fucking news?
I'm talking about that's absolutely it. And then, you know, you got news companies that be like, well, we got to blame the game for this. No, you have to blame the parents. Mm-hmm. The parents are to blame because they're the ones who allowed them to play the game in the first place.
And you know what? On top of that, I gotta blame one more person. Right? I'm gonna interject before you finish, though.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
This is one of the most important parts of gaming today. Is it really got out of hand, and it harkens back to the idea about YouTube content creators being, you know, creative and authentic, whereas there are these genre of YouTubers who devote all their time to opening loot boxes in front of a bunch of kids on YouTube, and then they inspire these kids to go and spend all this money trying to get one fucking card for their FIFA Ultimate Team or their Madden Ultimate Team or whatever the fuck, and they don't get it, so they keep spending because they want that fucking card. They want that happiness from that digital item that they're never going to get. The reason why these big YouTube celebrities get these type of things is because it's fucking rigged. That's exactly what corporations want. They're going to rig the platform for the person making the video so it looks good. It incentivizes somebody to buy the shit. And that's horrible. And to be so fucking heartless and soulless, to make all this fucking content and not ever think in the back of your brain, I am really fucking myself up, and I'm fucking a bunch of kids up right now. And to me, if you don't have that sensibility to say, okay, yeah, I probably should stop doing this shit because I'm really doing a disservice to just life in general. Like, I'm not doing anybody a favor by doing this. In fact, I'm probably doing more harm than anything. But no, these motherfuckers are so greedy, and they're getting paid so much money, they can literally throw that shit right out their brain and be like, oh, nah, I'm balling hard. Hey, like and subscribe. Hit that like button and smash the comment section and whatever the fuck they say these days. Yeah, and if you follow me in the next 5 minutes, you'll get this amount of free currency or whatever, and that gives them a taste of, you know, what they could be doing if they got more money.
Oh yeah,
shit like that is so fucking ridiculous to me that people would even fall so far down the fucking pit that they would not give a fuck anymore about who they harm.
Oh yeah, you know, like I always tell folks when it comes to like loot crates and things like that, like it comes down to children treating these things more like Pokemon cards. You know, they have an idea. The only difference between that and the Pokemon card, you got a decent chance of getting, getting the Pokemon or whatever you want. Same thing with, the Digi cards when they were a thing.
And ownership. Yeah. It's physical back then. Like, you had a card in your hand that you could trade with somebody if you had double.
Exactly.
Whereas with this, when you get double, you keep that fucking double. It doesn't like exchange it for something else. Like, what you get is what you get, and you can't actually do nothing with that digital platform. When the server goes down for 2K16, 17, 18, all the money you spent for those games goes out the fucking window. And it doesn't transfer over to the game that comes next. In 19, if you spend all that money, that $1,000 you spent in 19 does not transfer over to 2K20. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's another thing too, because I don't know if you guys know about. I'm pretty sure you know about it, but Mortal Kombat 9 has been pulled off of Steam, right?
Oh yeah, I heard
about that.
It's pulled off of Steam, off of PlayStation Network, off of Xbox. The game is gone. You know why, right?
Licensing.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, so when did that game come out? No, let me look that up. When did Mortal Kombat 9?
2011.
No, I think it came out a little bit later than that.
You sure?
I want to say it came out a little bit later than that. Mortal Kombat. Well, no, MK9. Yeah. No, you may be right. My fault. I'm fucking up. I'm thinking of 10. I don't know why I thought of X for a second.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11.
2011, April 19th.
Well, so it's 2011. Okay, so that game made it all the way to 20. I think it was mid or late 2019.
Yeah, 19. Yeah.
Did that get pulled off last year? Or?
Yeah, that got pulled off last year.
All right, so games. So you mean to tell me games nowadays with the whole online thing are only good for like not even 10 years?
Pretty much. Go ahead. I'm gonna also bring up another game that also got pulled too.
You think about the future of MK11 too, and that's an always online platform. Once that shit goes down, it's game over. See,
how much content are you about to lose? Because if
a lot,
they got a whole bunch of like
characters. It tells you that you need an online storage to customize your character, or else your save data won't be there.
True.
All your save data is on an online storage.
How much of that fucking game you think you own?
$10 of it. $10.
You pop the disc in by itself without the updates. I think I have a video still up on my channel. It's called Day One MK11 with the Day One patch or some shit like that. And that game has a problem where when you pop the disc in, you think you get still the base roster of characters, and half the fucking roster, if not most of it, is being installed by the online. So you're only getting like 2-3 characters to start with, and you have to wait for it all to install on your game.
Yeah.
So your disc don't even have the base roster on it.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, on top of that, if you download the game digitally, this is why I got so much beef with, the digital era, because people are like, oh yeah, it's convenient, I ain't gotta worry about the disc and blah 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 blah. I'm like, well, okay, all that stuff is cool and all, but
there's a big ass but.
Yeah, and that's the kind you want to see. But it's like, damn, when that like once this game is gone, then what? Because I'm like, and luckily for me, I already downloaded it and I own it. But at the same time, it's like, once how many people are gonna be able to say that? Because like old Mortal Kombat games, like, what? Man, I want to play Deadly Alliance, pop that joint in, everything there. Man, I want to play Armageddon, pop that joint in, everything there. 10 years from now, man, let me hop back on that Mortal Kombat 11. And I remember liking Spawn. Like, wait, where is he?
See, that's why I like MKX, because every time I get on MKX, my save data is still there. All my collections of stuff is still there. My DLC characters still there. I can do towers without it warning me about online connection.
You can for now, but let's say you delete the game to make it space, and when you try to go back and re-download it, you can't.
That's true.
I mean, if you got the MKXL version of the game, everything's already on.
You're good on the XL version, because it has everything on it. But if you had the normal version, you're fucked. Like,
even so, I'll never delete MKX because that's one of my favorite games of that year. I went to a tournament. I won that tournament for that game, and it was amazing.
And like, I can understand why people like want things to as far as like things being digital being easier. I'm like, yeah, it is, but people really need to consider like how much you're losing digitally compared to how much or not physically and digitally, because like a lot of games that are physical still require you to hop online with it. It's like the whole issue I had with Spyro. It's like, damn, if something happens to the server, or if Activision has some falling out, or they try to sell the rights to Spyro and you can't get it, or some shit happens on their end and you're unable to get something that you paid for previously.
Exactly.
So like, my thing with the incentive for digital should be that it's cheaper, because they're not spending any money as far as like distributing physically or anything like that. So I'm like, man, if anything, physical games should be like $40-$50 when they come out, compared to the $60 physical counterpart.
Oh yeah, like when I was telling you a while back, I used to work for I'm not gonna say the name because I fucked that company, but when I used to work for a company that we used to do the prints for the game, we used to put the cover and everything on the game. We used to do the whole shaboodle for the game. We even used to burn the game.
Shaboodle.
Yeah, the whole shaboodle.
Quote that. Let me make a new edit right now. How do you spell that?
Bro, I don't know. I just said shit.
Shaboodle. Hold on.
But the one thing that we had a problem with was a lot of those prints, believe it or not, would only cost like $11 to $15 to do the whole entire thing for that game. That's a piece. So each game would be $11 or so for it. So if a game came out is $60, they were making, you know, like whoever it was, a lot of times they were making more profit off the game when it came out compared to what, you know, how much the game cost when it was made. The same thing with Blu-ray. You can normally get a Blu-ray disc and do a print on it. It's a little bit higher, but at the same time, you're not paying as, you know, they're not getting less money for that. They're getting more these days for that. And my thing is, I don't have a problem with a physical game being, you know, $60 as long as I'm getting all of the fucking content on it. Or, you know, shit, you know, like I was hoping that they did come out with an XL version of this Mortal Kombat, and which most likely will never happen. But I was
Aftermath is technically that.
Yeah, but you know, the whole entire thing, I was hoping to get a physical copy. You know what I mean? So they actually
no. Aftermath does have a physical copy. They did say they're gonna do a retail version of Aftermath.
Oh shit, I might wait for that then. But it varies though. Even if I, you know, wait on it, is it still going to be a majority of it? Like, even if I get the game, am I still getting, you know, Mortal Kombat, the original MK11? And, you know, then they just download the characters on there. See, that's
my fear. They did that with Street Fighter 5 when they did the Champion Edition and the Arcade Edition. People bought the Arcade Edition and found out that it was Street Fighter 5 base disc, and then they gave you a voucher for the DLC character.
Yeah, that's the one of the things that's damaging about, like, when it comes to gaming companies like that. Or like Blockbuster used to say it better. Them Capcom cock guzzlers, you know, like they weren't wrong. You know, because at the end of the day, like, you have to think, due to any license disagreement, a game can be taken down off of any gaming network server at any time. One of the best examples for this is, y'all remember the ugly ass game Deadpool? You know, y'all may know the character.
Yeah. You know, I played it. I enjoyed it for what it was.
It was great. I'm not gonna lie. It was a funny game.
Goofy as fuck. Slapping Wolverine while he was passed out on the floor was hilarious.
Dude, you could slap him for hours. That's what made that shit funny. Like, I actually tested it. I slapped him for like almost an hour and a half straight. Yeah. But you can do stuff like that. But like, the one problem that I had was, oh, well, you know, there was a whole thing with the license disagreement, game taken down. Why?
Yeah, the digital version is gone.
You know, the whole digital version is gone. And the thing that sucks is, let's say, oh shit, I deleted, let's say I'm trying to make space. And the next day, they're like, oh yeah, this version doesn't exist. I cannot go back and re-download that. It's gone. You gotta think, that's money that I paid for of a digital version that I'm thinking, oh, it's on the web, it's gonna be here forever. No, that shit is gone.
The one example I will say of that actually not being the case is on the 360, if you bought a game that got taken off of the platform and you already had the license for it, you could still re-download the game on the 360, which was weird. Like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I knew a lot of people who had bought the game, and when it got taken off, people were like, oh shit, what if I delete it? But then they had announced that they basically said, okay, if you purchase the game, the license will still be there for you, but nobody else can purchase the game outside of the people who bought it already.
Yeah, that was the saving grace, you know, to that type of thing. You know, in a lot of nowadays, now they don't commit to those same practices.
Yeah, they don't honor that shit.
Yeah, in certain ways, some people might, but in a lot of ways, they do not do that anymore. Like, I'm trying to think of it's one more game, and I cannot think of it right now. But same thing, it went down. We no longer can get that. It no longer exists. It's just like, and the sad part was, it was a digital game only. So that's what makes it, you know, things like that sucks. Because you got to think, if you spend $100 for a PlayStation, you know, download game, I'm just gonna say it, you know, and then all of the DLC to come with it, and then 10 years down the line, you like, damn, man, hey, I still got that shit on my system. But damn, I deleted some of the data for the DLC. You can't go back and get that. That's it. That's finito. It's done.
Or even worse, for people who own a PS3 right now still, they don't have access to those digital games no more because the server for PlayStation 3 is gone.
Exactly. You know, and that's like one of the things I think actually me and Immortal actually talked about that on one other podcast a while back. Like it's just it's sad like that we cannot get any of like the content that we once had. Or I can understand when the server goes down, it goes down. I understand that. I'm okay with that. That's fine. Whatever. But my thing is when it's starting to go into like PC gaming and stuff like that, I kind of have a problem with it. Like I really kind of have a problem when it comes to that. Because
especially Steam. Shit getting pulled off.
You know, shit gets pulled off, and I deleted it for extra space on my PC, and I no longer can download that game. Bro, come on, man. Like, there should be something around that. It shouldn't be right for a person to do. You know, it's happening even with like certain VR games, man. Like, I know it was one game where I do not know what the name of the game is. Maybe TheMTrilogy can tell me what the name of the game is, and maybe hopefully I can find it and I'll just put it in somewhere on the screen. I'm also gonna take that Yoda picture, man, that you did. That's gonna be the fucking thumbnail right there.
Yeah, I saw that. I was trying to bust out laughing earlier. I was like, I don't want to mess with the stream.
Yeah, I just keep looking at it, man. Like I keep looking over and I'm like, oh shit, dude, that is funny as hell. But
actually, you know, we've been talking about this one topic for a while now. I forgot for a while we even had questions.
Yeah, like, oh no, like this is cool. This is what podcast content is, man, and I enjoy this. But the one thing is, even like I said, going back to PC gaming and VR gaming, I do not like it when I pay for a game, and a game, just because a game is so fucking buggy, I don't want you to go into my library that I paid of games, go in and physically take my game out of it. And so, because that makes me feel like I don't even have the privacy of my own library that I have. If I had the game downloaded, you put a lock on the game and then quote unquote, oh, well, we're fixing it right now. And the game can be played offline. I have a problem with that. Yeah. And I'm starting to see that more and more. It's like, not only do you don't have the privacy anymore. A lot of times when you play certain video games, they're taking information down about you playing, you know, how you playing the game and stuff like that.
How long you play for. Yeah.
And, you know, it's weird that, you know, they can do that. Like, now Resident Evil, you know, 2 has done that, but I enjoy that because they make it more knowledgeable. Resident Evil 2. You know, like, it's just like, oh, did you know these everybody who's played this game, you know, there's enough games to fill up a whole entire city. You know, I like shit like that. I like, you know, they even come up with like the equivalent of
and you can opt out of Resident Evil's
you have that option.
.net shit.
Yeah, you have the
option.
You
don't have to participate.
Yeah, but I love to participate because I love to just see the little info and knowledge of like, you know, how much gunpowder was used in the game, and you know, like 3 or 4 megatons that have been like shot off already, and you're just like, holy shit, that's a nuke. You know,
yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah,
you know,
like that. You know, it's nice to know.
Yeah. But
pointless information, but it's still cool.
Yeah, but like at the end of the day, I don't like it when a game company has control of something that I already paid for, and I didn't give you the option to monitor what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh well, when you bought the game, before you even start the game, it tells you in this small ass text writing, in which, come on, man. Like, my thing is, you're gonna skim through that at the end of the day, and they're gonna be like, oh well, you know, when you put your credit card information in, we can charge you $20 a month. How about that shit? No, man. No, you can go suck a dick, not mine, but you can go suck a dick. And that's just how I feel when it comes to that type of thing. Like I said, I love playing video games. I enjoy being a gamer just like you guys do. I enjoy making gaming content, but when gaming is shit, it has to be called out.
Yeah, because like, you know, if you don't say anything, who will? I mean, you can only complain about stuff for so long until it's like, well, man.
Here's my thing though: if you're not speaking up about the things you love, then you don't really love it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
And
like
we're
that.
passionate about gaming, so we're gonna talk about these type of things because it irks us to see gaming go down this direction.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
it sucks. It sucks. It's but
yeah, I'm happy about certain games, and I'm also disappointed about games, and that brings me to my next question. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
The fucking leeway. Oh no, what's it called? Segway. The Segway. Yeah, that's I said leeway. What the fuck is wrong with me?
It's all good, man. It's like fucking 10, almost 11 o'clock at night. Our brains are everywhere. What games are you guys looking forward to? Whoever wants to go first, just say but what games are you looking forward to and the reasons why you're looking forward to them?
Afro, I'll give this one to you. I've been answering questions first.
All right. Well, I'll say like the game I'm like looking forward to for right now. There's not too many, but the one I'm like, I guess I would say like as far as just looking forward to is Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Because that game, they're doing a lot of things that are risque, and I like that. I want a game to be interesting in a way where it's like, oh man, I really want to know if they're gonna go through with this or how they're gonna pull this off in today's climate or whatever. Because shit's fun. I wanna see it. I want games to be creatively unbound. I want them to just do whatever the fuck. Because like movies kind of suck now because they all go one way, and I don't want games to do that because games are, to me, they're a lot more intriguing because you get to actually be a part of it instead of just sitting there watching. Movies have their place. I'm not saying they're trash, but games are even more so because they've been more movie-like than ever before. But the twist is that you get to control aspects of that movie by being more engaged by playing with the character, like
like that in Fallout for sure. Back in the day.
Like God of War, like that game really feels intense because you're playing with Kratos and you got your son doing this, and it's a really cinematic experience on top of being a decent, solid game.
Yeah, fully controllable games, too. Man. Nothing is like taken away from you.
Exactly.
Yeah, even like I'm playing Final Fantasy VII right now. I didn't play this game 20 years ago, but even now it's like, man, it's a new experience, and it's because they have the freedom to really go all out and expand the characters, the lore, the story. I like that. I don't want to see no game constantly get hagged on because a bunch of people who don't have any interest in actually playing the game want it to be a certain way.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
So that's the game.
I gotta say, man, sometimes the low res textures in remake are there, and you kind of see them, especially in like the open areas where you start doing side quests and whatever. However, the majority of the game is so good, man. I put in 100 hours. I platinumed the game, and I loved every minute of my time with it. Even went as far as beating it on hard mode and did the secret bosses. That has some explanation as to how good the game is, and it kept me intrigued. I didn't even want to play any other game besides it while I was playing it. So it goes to show you, if it holds your attention that long, it was developed with enough love and attention that you could tell when you were playing it. So it didn't take the experience from me. Like I felt more indulged in the experience because of that.
Right.
Yep. That's the signs of a good. Those are signs of a good game.
Exactly. Definitely, I feel that. I guess it's my turn to answer the question. I might be biased here by saying it, but because my name is Kuroki Samurai, and I've always had like a real interest in studying Bushido and stuff like that. I really am looking forward to seeing what Ghost of Tsushima has to offer.
Yeah, I understand that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
But if I had to say the game that I'm truly like 100% like ready to play, like I said, I don't know how long ago, it was definitely Cyberpunk. I have to agree with Afro on this one, man. Like Cyberpunk is definitely where it's at, and hopefully it comes out exactly the way. And I know I have faith in CD Projekt Red. They're not gonna skimp on content and shit. The game is gonna come out luscious and beautiful looking, right? Like
Yeah.
the world itself looks expansive already just from the trailers and what they've told us. So I have nothing but faith for this company.
Yeah, the game's gonna be thick. THICC.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel that.
Like, there's a lot to look forward to. Because and that's like the only game, like I said, that I'm like curious, really curious and interested in on a level that I not really am into like another game. Like, yeah, I don't. It's kind of hard. I don't like using the word "oh, I'm excited for this game." It's more just like, but I'd say definitely, Cyberpunk is the one that has most of my attention. I'll say that.
Extremely innovative. It's a beautiful product.
How did you guys ever like play just main beat 'em ups in any form of fashion?
Beat 'em ups? There was a game on PS2 called Barbarian. I don't know if y'all remember that.
I've heard of it.
That one you had Fight for New York, Def Jam. All the Def Jam games were cool.
Like what I mean by beat 'em ups,
you mean like 2Ds?
Yeah, like 2Ds, Streets of Rage, Double Dragons.
Yeah, Metal Slug.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that.
But
Contra.
How did y'all feel about the new release of Streets of Rage 4?
It looks good.
I want to play that. I haven't got a chance to play it. I definitely want to, play it.
I think we could play it together too. If we all three got it, we probably
we
could be able to do a co-op on that.
Yeah, actually we can. I'm not gonna lie, man. I was waiting for the release of it to come out, the physical version, because it's a game called a company called Limited Run that comes out with mostly DLC games that only have a DLC release. They come out with a physical version of them, and I wanted to get the physical version of it, but I'm like, damn, man, I'm also gonna spend this money to get this digital version. I'm
a lot more expensive, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a lot more expensive. Like, it's like $50, to buy the physical copy, because you're getting the physical copy, but you're getting everything plus, all of the updates that they're coming out with. So it's not coming out, at this very moment. But what I see too, what like really pisses me off is when I see people like buy like 10 or 20 of these fucking games and then sell them at ridiculous prices.
Mm-hmm. The price gouging.
Yeah, and it's just like, man, I never understood it, but like I said, people out here, got to make money somehow, but at the same time, I didn't mean I have to like it either, but. But back to that, I like I said, yeah, if you guys want to actually do something like that as well, I'm down for getting that game. And
hey man, that'd be like one of our first big collabs and shit.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, besides the podcast, because we already doing that. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I'm actually, because we're actually an hour and 40 minutes in. Yeah, we did.
What is this, a Joe Rogan experience?
Man, hey, these podcasts go for a long time, no lie. But do any of you guys have anything you want to say for your closing out? It can be shout outs, it can be anything, and I'll try to find it and put the links down below of who you're shouting out, or your channel itself.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Well, this is like I said before, this is your Immortal Afro, Josh. Trying to make that comeback on YouTube and stay back. Not just YouTube, but of course I want to make sure I do my part to promote my alternative accounts on Library and BitChute. Like I said, I'm still gonna use YouTube until the boat sinks, but definitely gonna promote the alternatives. Check me out on BitChute, check me out on Library. I'm gonna try to get back to streaming at least 2-3 times a week. But talk about videos, video games, and all that good stuff, along with another channel starting soon. But you know me, your Immortal Afro, nigga with the fro.
All right.
So anybody who's watching can find me on Facebook, BitChute, Twitch. It's all Kuroki Samurai. So if you look me up, I'll be the first thing you see. Other than that, man, I'd like to shout out to these young gentlemen here, man. It was a lot of fun to actually sit back and just chill for a minute and talk with y'all.
I appreciate it, man.
Something I look forward to all day, man. I was working outside, cutting trees down and shit. I was like, man, I can't wait till this happens. Yeah, man.
I
really appreciate this. Definitely got to do this again.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
But all right, with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody who has taken the time out of their day to watch this video or listen to this video because it's a podcast, duh. But I appreciate every single one of you for taking the time out to watch this. Also, don't forget to subscribe to your boy if you're new to this channel, and subscribe to my homies that you hear online right now. I will have their links down below to their YouTube, Twitch, everything else. And thank you for hopping on to That Black Oni Podcast. And we are out.
All right.
Okay, guys, before we get ready to go, I want to just give a quick shout out really fast to my boy, Negative Edge. You guys may know him from many other installments, or you may have seen his reviews on his channel. I will leave links down below of his YouTube channel and a link to where you can actually contact him if you're looking for PC builds. Please, guys, you must be serious about PC builds and what you are looking for. Besides that, thank you so much, Negative Edge, for rebuilding my PC from the ground up and giving it some extra little oomph to it. Thank you. And that's it. Signing out in 3, 2, 1.